A matchup we've seen an awful lot of as of late now. G2, the French, will be taking on, I was going to say tier 2, excuse me, the second in command of the Brazilians of Counter-Strike. Yes, indeed, Immortals. They've already caused quite the stir against G2 alone. Competitive matchup, and we have some competitors on the desk as well. Of course, we have Sponge and YNK joining us, who are explaining this one. Admittedly, it will be brief. The players, as you saw, already bums in seats ready to play. So, gentlemen, we'll do a nice abridged and a swift version of this one. Now, first port of call. They've played quite a lot recently. We have some results to discuss, Yanko.
Absolutely. They just played last week at the major qualifier in Bucharest. It was the opening game of the tournament. You know, two of the favorite teams to go through have to face each other in the first game. You know, there was a lot of pressure on teams. Yeah. So Immortals really stepped up to the plate. You know, they went for Inferno, which, you know, isn't one of the strongest maps for G2 statistically, but a lot of the times people are not willing to play it against them because they can be very dominant on the CT side when they get rolling. And that map went into triple overtime, double overtime, yeah. So it was very, very close, and Immortals didn't take the win, but they definitely show that they can, you know, challenge G2 on the map.
Yeah, battle the big boys, definitely. And I mean, it's interesting as well, Chad, just on the topic of recent results. They've played, you know, an abundance of games, and every single time it's been on a different map. But is that just a sign that these teams like to keep things diverse in these best of ones?
I think they share a relatively similar map pool. Obviously, we know Immortals don't particularly like Nuke, and G2 they don't have a problem with that. But otherwise, I think it's, you know, it's a pretty fair map pool between the two of them. So I guess Immortals can just keep trying different things until they eventually, you know, have a breakthrough and show that they could be the more dominant team. But G2, like we mentioned, day one, first words out of my mouth probably were the top dogs, and they're definitely one of them. And I think the key storyline for this matchup is to make sure you're not giving players like KNG, Henny, and Lucas the space to find the gaps, weasel away on the T sides, and then cause chaos. They need to take those heads-up jewels on the CT side and punish them before they can actually take anything away. And that's something that G2 are going to be fantastic at doing. We
heard from MBK chatting to Stunner just ahead of this one. He was just saying, we're going to play our game. And indeed, it does seem like their game has got them these odds from our sponsor. Betway have brought it into a very convincing G2 favor. And of course, I guess perhaps justified given the fact that they did just recently pick up a victory versus Immortals, albeit, as Yanko has said, incredibly close. You guys at home are actually calling it even closer, a 54-46 split. But maps, Overpass, and I think it's, I had it in front of me, wait, I think it's Cbble. Overpass and Cbble are the two maps that Immortals have beaten G2 on recently, and one of those, Overpass, has yet to be played. 21 maps of Counter-Strike and not a single Overpass.
That's good.
Why?
I don't like Overpass.
I like Overpass.
I like it too.
Yeah,
why don't you like it?
I never had any success on it, so.
Okay.
Well, then I shouldn't like any map.
And we'll leave it there. The giggle from Jason says it all. Let's have a look at those vetoes.
It's going to be interesting where Immortals take it and G2, because Immortals in that game at the major qualifiers, they vetoed out Overpass themselves, and that was the map where they beat G2 handily at Pro League finals. So another recent encounter, you can see G2 goes for the same thing. They don't want to allow Inferno to go through because it was a very close game. You know, Immortals are going to go back and study it. And Cobblestone, sure, it's a very good map for G2. Obviously, it's interesting that we see again Immortals veto Overpass and actually allow Cobblestone to go through, because that is probably even the strongest map for G2 at the moment. A lot of teams just veto it. They don't really want to have anything with G2 on that particular map. But we saw yesterday Immortals, probably boosted by their own performance against Virtus.pro, feel like that this is their best map as well. So let's see where we stand on it, and let's see how we can square off against G2.
Sounds like a perfect summary there. You saw as well on the scoreboard, one final point from us here at the analyst desk is Steel is having a, what do you call them in Australia?
A blinder?
A ball terror?
Oh, a ball terror is one as well.
That's a thing. 50 frags so far from the Brazilian. Let's see if he can replicate that success versus the scary French. And on the other side of things, we have the cute and cuddly casters who are waiting to guide you through Cobblestone. Is the ever lovely, the beautiful Jason Moses O'Toole and Lauren Pansy Scott.
Cute, cuddly, it all applies to you, Jason.
Listen, Ball Terror really gave me a stomachache heading into this match. I don't know if I'll be able to do this.
You gonna be okay?
Oddly enough, Chad doesn't like Overpass, but he might be the only person in the world who likes Cobblestone. So
I like a bit of Cobble.
Do you?
Yep.
Okay, well, there's two of you.
What's wrong with Cobble? Why are you so aggressive?
Just saying. Just saying. Either way.
Alex, get out of here. He's bringing up Dust 2. No one wants to talk about Dust 2. Leave the room. All right, we can find out if Cbble is going to be a good map for these two. We know G2 love a bit of it. There's no taking that away from them, but it's Immortals. Have they got a blown-up sense of proportion as to how good they are on this after their previous victories, or is it really rather warranted? We're going to find out any second now. Already, Lucas can be put to the test, and well, doesn't quite do as much as maybe he'd want to, but the cheeky little 4-1 start hasn't really worked out well, as Apex is already succeeding over by B as well.
No, that's sick. I mean, Lucas, he just gets caught out. He can't fall back from that position. He's too committed. That one kill forces some rotates. That's when Apex pops out. This is quite good. Gets that kill. He does get taken down. Maybe a little bit too much dueling at that range, especially with the Glock, but the first initial kill from him is very, very nice. Now we're into a 3-on-3. This defense is going to be spread, but those USPs at this range are going to work.
Yeah, they really are. And you've still got Steel at the back of the site too. Nice spots come out as well. Henny and Steel going to be doing the work to close out the first for Immortals. And again, well controlled in the end. Good timing on the rotate. You start to get a little worried when Apex has success over by B that it might actually hinder them being at the right place at the right time. They still get there.
Just a lot of long range battles against the USPs with those Glocks, and normally if you send that many bodies towards A hulls, you're gonna have like I'm wondering if maybe NBK had the utility if he had like the smoke to throw for doors, but usually you use at least one to cross into the site. That's just too much range. Much like the last match, I mean, running the gauntlet against those USPs doesn't always work out well.
No, it certainly doesn't. The molly won't be extinguished. Smoke goes up. And that does allow Bolts a little bit more freedom. Shock's a little bit further ahead of the pack. The rest of them holding back, maybe going to play out of drop, see what they can do. But you can see how quite, passive Immortals are to a degree. You've got Henny all the back at Chicken Coop. You've got Steel playing outside by the window. Or, well, I guess in the window itself, but he can fall off that quite easily. So they don't want to allow G2 the chance to use those Tech 9s, those CZs close and personal. And Kenny S gets a chance, and he won't take it. Well, he will take it, should I say, as Bolts will find MBK.
Yeah, Steel far too committed to that. There's the battle, but it's actually going to be an A bomb site attack. Split from the connector. KNG's got a lot to do, and he's doing it well. He gets one. Kenny, all he can really hope for in this situation is to get the bomb planted, and that should be easy. He's only got 3 HP, but this should go down. No one's in a position from Immortals to punish this. Small play that might go unnoticed, Bolts. That strategy is designed. The 4 players come down, drop, and then Shocks comes through that smoke once that player on platform rotates to kind of take that fight at long range. Oh, there's a nice kill from Kenny. Still got a chance here. He split them up. But he does fall. But either way, Bolts, I mean, when he goes to take that fight over from platform all the way towards the drop zone, he drops a flash in that connector. He drops a flash in that choke point. So when Shocks goes to make his move, he gets completely blinded. That buys Bolts just like, 3 seconds of which he can make his fight happen where he can be a little bit successful. So nice little detail that may go unnoticed.
So, 2-0. A little closer on the second there. Had, some success throughout the map. But the round, nonetheless, will sit in Immortals' hands. So 2-0, good stuff. Imagine this round coming in from G2 will be an ooh. Okay, Kenny. Kenny's on the rifle.
Spicy. Yeah, I mean, that last round you have to imagine for G2, they're going to be very happy with it. 3 kills, they get the plant as well. So, I mean, keeping the pressure up economically. We'll see what they have in store for Immortals. Playing some aggressive positions as well. Maybe not ready for this buy, but a lot is on Kenny with this AK-47. Body has the Galil. Other than that, it's just pistol. So you imagine they lead the way, create space for the other 2 riflers, and see what comes of it.
I am excited to see KNG getting that AWP in his hands as well. The guy has been making some headway recently. I think it was against Mouse Sports on this map. He really tore him apart. So see if he has a chance later on. This could certainly help towards it if he builds up some funds, but only 1 to be claimed from this, and Body is going to have success with that Galil.
Yeah, but Apex is going to be happy. Gets the dink and it's traded off. And now this is really nice. You can see these lurkers are really terrorizing this defense, dropping into open positions. They can slow things down now. They have a minute. It's a 3-on-2 situation. They can just pause and be patient and wait for these pushes because Henny's on the flank. That's something that if they're waiting for, if they're cognizant of it, they can really, really punish.
Yeah, and Shox is in that awkward predicament. It's like, well, I'm here, but how much can I secure for my team? Because Henny's pretty much out of this for him. He can't really herd him together, but can he have some Body get complacent on the way out if they try and back towards B, go all the way around through, the halls? This could be a problem. But Shox is actually going all the way around. He's checking all that way.
He's got to have a sense that something's not right, that someone wasn't there that should have been, and I think God. Kenny's about to fall here, and that'll give it up. That'll give up the Henny flank. What does G2 do from here?
Time as well, 20 seconds? Okay, Shox has great success. That will at least open up maybe a small window into getting that bomb down, but timing is going to be a factor. Let's keep our eyes on Body here as he's going to be making his way through. Shox as well is just purely on the mission to ensure that no one can stop this. Everything else is on Body to get onto the site and get the bomb planted. 7 seconds, 6, done. Bomb down, and good after plant position. Shox going to stay up by the stairs. Body can play the site. Steel working back into this. He does have a kit, but no flashes, no way to slice these two apart. As he's going to head through towards the rock, check towards Coop, check towards that close right corner, check towards the close left. He knows he's working this out slowly but surely, unraveling that G2 hole, but one peek at the wrong timing, he can be done for. And it's Body to take the wide peek after Shox gets the spot.
Great confidence in G2, great patience, allowing Shox to come all the way from the B bomb site, check the flank, get that one kill, especially after Kenny falls. And then they know, since Henny's the flanker, since he came from the B bomb site, it's more than likely wide open. Steel, he just has to gamble. He has to say they're either going to come A or they're going to go B, but I'm just going to sit here and wait and see if I feel any pressure, and it's the wrong bomb site. So unfortunate, but they're going to buy right back into this. Immortals not wanting to give it up after that early buy from G2. But they're at a severe disadvantage. Not a lot of utility on a lot of players, a scout as well.
No, this does become a little bit trickier, doesn't it, if you're Immortals? Gotta be so regimented with where you utilize that utility in your pocket. Otherwise you'll be left with absolutely nothing by the time the hit actually comes. Now, G2 aren't in the perfect spot, but far greater than Immortals. You know, still 2 CZs up. I don't really doubt the UMPs on this map. There is a certain place to have it, and Henny with a scout, again, it's okay. But with that clock running down, time starting to dwindle, Immortals going to start feeling that pressure.
And as crazy as it sounds, that's kind of going to start playing into the hands of Immortals, just because they went into this round and they were very bold. They didn't use any utility at the start to slow anything down. Now when the execute starts coming in, they can use those Molotovs to block off these choke points. Nothing coming in yet, though.
Yeah, Bolts is the first port of call. They have to commit for it, though, and Henny going to force himself out of it. And there we are, swarmed, outdone, overwhelmed. MBK will claim the shot, but still, the rest will soon to follow. It's G2 taking control in this round. And so little chance of a play back here for Immortals.
Yeah, unfortunately, the Molotov on KNG and some of the utility, the smoke on Lucas, all at the other side of the map. So they couldn't use those over towards the B bomb site when the flashes did come in. So it's just a clean sweep. Really nicely done from G2. And these remaining 2 players from Immortals just have to save these weapons, hope that G2 gets over-aggressive, gives away an AK-47 at the end.
Flash as well. Not going to have it, are you? Kenny, going to get away with that one. And now Lucas, a mile away, praying for exits or anything, just maybe looking to keep hold of that UMP by this point.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, G2's not going to overextend. They want to build up some of the money early on, so no need to risk. That flashbang at the end there is a nice touch. Sometimes you can just clear that, say, you know, we'll just have the trade ready, but that flashbang really, really secures it easily. So it's going to be all tied up 2-2, and with that investment, Immortals, doubt they upgrade anything, doubt they go for any kind of weaponry upgrade whatsoever.
No, I am looking forward to seeing Immortals with the AWP down the line. Again, KNG is someone that I can't overlook at the moment. And then you've got Henny as well. So it's you're 2 very, very powerful players who have the potential to really provide a lot throughout the later games.
And it's good to point out as well that Henny with the AWP as well, frequently we've seen him be very up and down. We often joke and talk about the fact that he only seems to show up at IM Katowice. He was stellar at the major qualifier, so he's finally, it seems like he's starting to get a little bit of a feel, a little bit more consistency to him.
A good stack from Immortals, at least in this. No SMGs on the G2 side to go free farming, so again, you want to keep hold of these guns. You don't want to let this one fall away. I do like the position from Bolts. It is checked on quite consistently these days, but Lucas maybe going to try and pull some of the attention there, and it will be Steel to find body. For the rest of G2 starting to mount the attack. There's one man just dancing around on that site, trying to keep himself in this one, but Steel's not going to have much luck. And we're down to 2 USPs, so not expecting to see that sort of config play that we saw not too long ago in that SK game.
Yeah, no, nothing like that coming whatsoever. Down very low as well. So it's going to be 3-2, and the question becomes how much reliance is Immortals going to have on the AWPs in this next round? Are they going to be able to get them out? If they do, it's going to be a little bit low in utility. They're not going to have the nades, maybe missing some armor. But regardless, we've seen them want to go to that pretty early on in a lot of their different games. This is a good start from G2. We've seen that previous round is just pretty fast-paced, knowing there's not going to be a whole lot of utility, not a whole lot of dangerous weaponry out. The round previous, knowing the force buy coming, slow and calculated execute. Kenny's clearing all of his corners. Clinical. G2 is up.
Good stuff all in all. G2 got a nice bit of bank behind them as well now. Starting to feel out the game, keeping Immortals pretty humble in this. Even after that little bit of a back and forth between the rounds and a good start for Immortals, it's G2 starting to claim back those reins. And we do see that ult with Kenny S. Something that, you know, the return to the classic Kenny S is a phrase that's certainly been bandied around, but always exciting to watch.
No ops on the CT side as well, so Kenny, free reign, although he probably doesn't know it. Holding this angle likely, or normally an alt peek out towards mid. Nothing to punish there, though. NBK gets aggressive at the right moment. Steel almost gets caught out, but that's going to give drop zone control over to G2. Important piece of map control gained by the terrorist side. And he's up next. He's not even paying attention. That's a massive miscommunication. Apex is just so happy with that free kill. There's only one more player in this B bomb site. Apex is going to get him too. This is too much ground given up to him, and he's really making him pay for it, isn't he?
Yeah, MBK covered the drop, I guess, with the Galil slightly, but even just the call that, hey, I don't have drop control right now, they could push. There was no awareness from the Immortals. That's a huge oversight.
Yeah, that really is, and that's very strange. That had to have been something that was called out, and maybe Henny just doesn't hear it. Maybe it just doesn't click into his brain that he's completely exposed from behind. Just very, very curious. And the tough part is, I mean, as we talked about during the last match a little bit, Immortals just a very emotional team, very momentum-based team. Steel talked a lot at the major qualifier about how when everything's going well, communication is going great. It's when they struggle, when they have some bad rounds, and everyone's feeling a little bit down about it, that's when communication really, really gets punished.
A desperate attempt to keep hold of these two rifles. KNG's put up a good fight, 2 kills for him, trying to defend this. Lucas as well, but as you can see, G2 are closing in, see if they can get these guns away, but only Shox really committing up this. They're not probably going to have much of a shot at it. No, Shox was close, but no cigar, so the guns do remain.
Apex loves this round. He turns this corner as just so astounded to see no pressure.
There's no one there either. It's like, all right, I'll just keep. Oh, nice.
I mean, Bolts has no idea either, because it's like, you know, the call from Henny is like, oh, one's out drop, what the hell? And then Bolts just has no idea that he's already at Fountain, or already at Statue, excuse me. Yep, just collapses.
Yeah.
One small mistake.
You don't like seeing it, genuinely. It's frustrating, you can imagine, but, you know, communication is key, and it's a phrase for a reason at this point. Maybe just not aware, too kind of tunnel visioned in towards what you're doing, and now a very attentive hold towards drop, but with minimal amounts. You know, Bolts is on a Deagle, we've got a CZ with Steel, Henny as well on the Deagle, but the rest, they did retain those rifles, so maybe a fight could be made here, but so far G2 really bringing a lot to this one, but Bolt's already going to find body. That's a bit of a surprise, but KNG as well wants it on the action to boost up towards drop. Nice from him. MBK falls, left scratching his head, how they weren't aware of that after having such great success down drop before. And again, Apex looking to reply. He's desperate to try and make up the odds here, try and turn the favor back towards G2 in this round, but that Molly's only just going to push him out and allow maybe a chance to take down Henny there. But there's the reply. KNG wants this round, and he's going to do so much for it.
Yeah, this is brilliant from KNG, keeping up the aggression, going for the fight as well. Shox has nothing to do. He's completely blind as well. Finally, Lucas comes in, but that's really well done from Immortals to get back on the scoreboard as well. When you have so little, when you only have 2 rifles, you want those riflers to be the ones that initiate contact. You want them to be making the first moves. It's awesome that Bolts gets the first kill with the Deagle, but then boosting up KNG when the span subsides, and he's able to find NBK through just as the smoke kind of dissipates there. And then continuing with the flank. So back at it, and finally Henny's got the AWP. 8th round in, that he gets that weapon in his hands. Here's the peek. Aggressive down this B hallway. He's got to be careful with it, though. There's a stack, and he goes back for the peek. That's the kind of Henny we know. Doesn't get punished this time, but we have seen it happen.
Slightly scary, isn't it, when you do that sort of thing?
So
Squeaky bum time.
Sees the double stack, and he's like, yep, I'll go right back into it.
But Immortals is going to try and keep control of the pace here, not allow G2 to try and build up their own, but it's a different look here for G2 as well. Eyeing up towards A this time. Shock still taking his time by B, ensuring that no one can go on that quick play around the back, gather all that information, but Lucas and KNG will be put to the test here. KNG already going to play out by Danger, smoke out towards Long. There are 3 players there, bearing in mind. Maybe 4 soon if Body decides to join them. But the smoke's going to really force KNG to be careful as to where he commits. Going to force himself back down towards middle. He does have a bit of play there. No, Lucas is actually going to take over on Long. So again, this falls to KNG now to try and keep under wraps.
He's got some backup, and if it is going to be a hit towards Lucas, then KNG can come back up those stairs and really support it and really be a backstab. This is a dangerous situation, very tenuous round at the moment. Could go either way. It all depends on this hallway attack. Shox trying to make something happen over towards B. He's pulling a rotation away. There's the peek. They're not looking. It is a good trade. KNG, though, he has the bomb. They have got to clear him out. Flashbang out, but he's not ready. He can't recover in time.
No, just a little too quick there was Apex. Bombs back into the hand, but look at the time, 17 seconds. You've got to be almost clean to the site here, but Henny's not going to allow that to happen. Kenny S already goes, a quick molly comes out, 10 seconds now, and there's still Steel waiting. Oh my word, what a play from Apex, being able to even take the time to do that. And now the bomb will be planted, and we're into 2v2. It suddenly will become possible. What looked like a very rare situation being turned is now somewhat looking like G2 could have this one. Shock still alive, sitting relatively pretty on 71 HP. Bolts and Henny having to play back into this and no kits available.
Oh, this is brutal. Apex is going for a long flank as well down to mid. He's got to get there quickly because Shox can't do this on his own. Bolts is going to be the first one up, and Henny still hasn't moved. They still think he's in the sight. Oh, what a shot! Clothesline, Bolts can't make it anywhere, and Henny's still going to go for it.
You've got to do something incredible here, Henny. And there's the first step in the right direction, but time is ticking, and he doesn't have much left of it. He's going for the fight. He's hoping for the best, but the best isn't always enough, as he has to back away as the time just ran out on him. But he did at least find the 2 kills.
What a round from Apex. That is so dirty, even clearing that back corner as well. What a risky situation. You could see just, yeah, Seal doesn't need to peek there. I mean, I think that's the big thing. Doesn't need to slide out that way, especially because if you just hide, he's got to clear it so wide that someone at balcony can punish him. But, I mean, still an incredible shot considering you're only at, what, 10 HP, I think, in that round. He was red. But dirty, dirty performance from Apex. Double ops. KNG and Henny bring those out. Finally, we get to see them. I know you're excited.
Look, KNG's already having a good game on the rifles, so
yeah.
Show me a little something here with that AWP, and I will be very pleased. Kenny not going to have the opportunity to be on on one this time, sadly for him, but maybe down the line we get a bit of that. But Lucas as well on the rifle, playing a bit of a deeper angle on long. Got a smoke to hinder anything. He feels that pressure again. Those shots going to find Bolts. That's an issue, but it's traded out well. So again, they don't have to worry too much about B just yet. KNG doesn't fully rotate, pulls himself back out towards A.
Is really playing a very similar style to Olaf Meister that we saw on this map when Fnatic was at their best. Either way, mid-pressure coming up and the spam through the smoke is going to open things up.
Yeah, Kenny not going to let you get away with that, is he, Lucas? Now KNG, you better be ready. And he misses the shot and just gets completely bulldozed out of the sight. There's Henny, though. There's one AWP turning up for at least Immortals at this point. And oof, that looked close, but that tree just sinks that bullet in. Now, again, desperate to get these frags, and he goes flying. Ragdoll effects always just look perfect, don't they? But G2, again, even with the backs to the wall, he gets a little bit tense, he gets a little bit dicey. Individually, they are certainly delivering.
Yeah, and I mean, part of it as well is the fact that you can see what makes Henny such a dangerous opera, the firing speed on this. Right here. But coming back for more right below him as well. He's just so quick. Apex caught out in the open. Beautiful, beautiful stuff. But still, I mean, this A defense is really getting abused at the moment. And the tough part is Immortals now just all on pistols. They're out of money with that double op purchase. That was a bit of desperation. Pushing forward now. You can see Apex jumping up, trying to help out NBK. It's not needed, and this is just a clean sweep.
And Immortals, you had to have known what you're walking into if you're playing Cbble against these guys, right? Even if you feel confident yourself in this map, it's tough. Are you okay there, Henny? Oh, hello. All right.
He's actually done good damage.
Yeah,
He's been
he
dueling
really
long range against like Kenny and AK-47s. Finally gets a kill. Kenny and Apex are a little bit cautious now. I mean, all they have to do is run over towards the B bomb site and it's round over. No chance of Henny really winning this one, but putting him on notice perhaps a little bit.
Yeah. It's always nice as well if you just manage to find one and you don't just get completely wiped out, but Henny's on the hunt. Apex is 14 HP.
He's gotten them all so low, just can't finish off any of these kills.
Oh, if you can get... Did they take the rifle away, though? I guess they hit it, or they just... Oh, well. Hello? Henny. Oh, bless him. you feel for him, right? It's just one of those, like, I'm trying everything here. I'm giving it a good go, but I know I can't do anything about the round. So, 7-3 is your scoreline. And Immortals, you know, again, these rounds have been close, but just not able to grind out those last couple of rounds.
Yeah, and Immortals just on such a tough economic situation at the moment. I mean, look at this utility. It's going to run out so quick. We saw previously a round they could have won if they had had kits. And now they've none this round. Henny has no armor on that AWP. Aim punch can be very, very difficult to handle. This is where sometimes you start seeing people make too many plays, and actually it shocks that time, but a good trade.
It all kind of gets nullified, doesn't it? If you trade out effectively, it's not the end of the world. Now, Lucas does find Apex this time. So, finally a man advantage.
That was going to be a free kill for one of them. If Apex just looks up to his left, Lucas has like no belief that that play is going to happen. There's a dink onto NBK. Tried to pre-fire it. He's ready for this again, but can't get the kill. KNG getting aggressive. Kenny's turn with the Tech 9, and Henny adds in one more. And there's the cleanup. Switch it to the double op setup. This time it is for free. Or no,
they didn't go for it.
I think he did. There was like 2 guns on top of it. I think he might have just picked up the wrong one. Couldn't get it in time.
Yeah, I think he agrees.
Less than pleased.
That's very frustrating for him. That could have been a beautiful addition. Hadn't really been able to get going with that AWP just yet. Henny's certainly starting to perform a little more, but got to be a little annoying. But Immortals, okay, clean enough round as well. Even better for them and their money.
It's not a disaster, right? Because, I mean, as you said, he's been playing great with the rifles so far when he's had the opportunities to him.
G2 again, taking their time on this one. Shox this time not going to go straight out towards plan. He's been playing it quite consistently, though. More impressive thing, you have your in-game leader on the other side of the map and you're still being incredibly effective. But KNG and Lucas might be put to the test again. Bomb's not committed anywhere, though. It's still left at the T side of middle, so no one's really eyeing up a quicker play here. We're down to a minute almost already, so MBK can be a real nuisance in towards drop. He can drop down there anytime he wants, just slow down Bolts or Henny on the play, or maybe try and make it for himself. Plenty of opportunity left.
Risky position as well, and we've seen it. When does Shox decide to make his move? He's been pretty proactive at this B platform. He's used all his nades at the moment. Tough part is Henny is here with the AWP. That's over in the chicken coop, so perhaps realizing an AWP is still in play, doesn't want to go for it just yet. KNG close up. This could be the kill. Body right on the other side.
It's so uncomfortable. He's not safe here and he knows it. Danger's the threat. He can't pick between which one's the right fight to take. He doesn't know the information we know. And he tries to decide on one and loses out. But Henny will deny Shox. That's important. That's quite big. And they're down to with only 28 seconds left. They have to commit on this hit pretty fast. If Lucas and Steel can just buy time, hinder, be a nuisance, this could still be important. Lucas, though, nade comes in, catches it to the face. And now they're still played in well. Takes the attention, does Lucas. And there comes the fight. Kenny, though, still going to be there. Still going to find Bolts. Down to 10 seconds. This is going to be running out of time. Surely Kenny and MBK going to have to do something incredible at this point. And it's just not going to happen. Kenny not going to find it. Lucas is the last line of defense. And he holds it well.
He really is. But the hero of that run is Steel. Getting there just in time. Finding that one impact kill that gives Lucas time to readjust his positioning. And I mean, that's what kind of stops that hit from G2 as the clock is winding down. That one kill, it's the front line. It's the player trying to make the hit happen. Low HP, Steel gets that one. He's been so great for Immortals. He's a big reason why they qualified for the major. So props to him for stepping up his play recently. But there's just, I mean, this is it's a little bit interesting. I mean, you can see the thought process from G2 on this T side. They have NBK drop. They have Shox over towards platform. Both of them being quiet. Both of them have the ability, if they feel like they can make a move, they're the ones that are supposed to really punish the rotations, catch someone off guard. That time it was Shox trying to make a play, but Henny's there with the AWP to put it down.
As we could see, Smith's in the background there, the one to be pretty vocal at this point, of course. Tactical timeout was called for G2 at this point, so again, maybe feeling it's time to talk things through, that the Immortals are starting to work things out. They have a bit of money beside them now as well. Not exactly building masses of bank, but they can at least get the ideal weaponry to a better degree. And on the other side, of course, G2's economy has been pretty much shattered at this point. They're down to bare minimum, but again, G2 maybe going to come in with a fresher idea into that next gun round.
They're going to need it. This double op setup is back and running. Would love to get some kills. They had such a stranglehold in the economy. They've lost that now. Here comes the hit. But 2 players on each side of drop zone. This shouldn't do a whole lot.
Bolt's going to put in the smoke as well, try and make it uncomfortable. They're just going to go right on through. Apex leading the charge, and Kenny S is going to get in on it as well. Henny now feels a little bit of pressure, left, right, and well, now about center, but that USPS is digging him out of some severe trouble, but it's down to 2v2. We have an AWP in Kenny S's hands, and we know what can happen when this begins. And now, does he expect it? Does he predict it? He doesn't need to. He spots it out, and now playing with time, toying with Lucas, but the bomb isn't even planted yet.
Yeah, no, it's going to book it over towards the A bomb site. This is going to be such a difficult...
Lucas is reading it.
Yeah, I mean, he did get the read. He saw Kenny jump off. He knows this is the likeliest play. He's not going to get there in time to stop the plant, but Kenny with that off, he's going to have so many different opportunities to find this kill if they're aware that Lucas could have read this so early, and I don't think they are quite yet.
And it depends on who spots out who here, but Lucas has made it pretty close. Yeah, now the spot comes in, so Kenny can start adjusting for it. But uncomfortable positioning, but he might have the angle here. But you can see the pre-aim from Lucas was right, but Kenny S just doesn't miss those, does he?
No, he doesn't at all. And I mean, that's opened up with one perfect flash frame from G2 just to get that opening kill. And from there, it's just a brawl. But what a round from Kenny S. 4 kills for him in it. That's really, really nice. And it just felt like, despite some of the pressure that was put on, despite that flashbang, Immortals had players in positions to stop it. Some of the spray was a little bit sloppy, not able to get as many kills. And those pistols just go to work. The mobility on them, Immortals just couldn't handle it. 8-5. And that really, really hurts this great performance that Immortals has had to kind of get back into this match.
Yeah, they have had to put, really laboring over this, as Lucas does at least connect a little bit towards Apex there, but he will provide that first opener for them. Start gaining that long control. Smoke comes out. KNG going to try and post himself up there as well. as Apex continues to charge through.
G2's been mostly pretty good at clearing out all these kind of tricky corners, so I can't imagine KNG having too much of an impact outside of some Herculean individual effort. The smoke clears, he gets one, but he can't get away. KNS is right there for the trade. They can keep pushing forward onto the A bomb site if they'd like. They have 4 players here, so that seems like the likeliest of options, and indeed they are.
Yeah, NBK the first to go up, does get a good step towards middle. Able to spot the door, kind of allow the others to, you know, mostly focus towards that balcony area. But a couple of players have snuck their way through towards the side. That's being Steel there. Bolt's going to try and watch his cross, but this is so tough to handle for Immortals. They don't have much to play with. That's the problem. Henny, the one with the real rifle, is currently in T-spawn. So, again, it needs some sort of insane performance here. Good flash. I like the intention. Didn't quite connect. Timing wasn't quite there.
Yeah, Henny's got an M4. This is now time for him to just save it, maybe run up into the tower. But either way, he can't do anything, so just fall back. I don't think G2 is going to be going on any kind of mad chase. I don't think their economy is all that strong at the moment. No, it's really not. NBK is very low, Apex as well. So no reason this late to expose yourself to any kind of a situation where you might be deficient of something right at the end. Only 1 round left.
So let's, you know, down to that map, Vito. There's still a lot to be seen, of course. Another whole half to go, but you walk into this against G2, and this sits so well with them on such a regular basis. Is this enough for Immortals, do you think?
It certainly is, but I mean, they need to, like we know from them, they need to catch fire. They need to get that that momentum running. They need to get that snowball effect, because that's exactly the kind of team they are. These ops need to heat up. The brilliant thing from G2 so far is with some of the critical rounds they've won, you know, they've really hurt the economy to the point where those ops can't come out. They can't really catch fire. We've seen some nice rounds from Henny, but just, you know, round after round, there's not enough of it.
No, and it's been pretty unrelenting from G2, as Sponge kindly said on Twitter. How do they win these rounds with just pistols?
It's that one pop flash, isn't it? That one that blinds the
so
player
well
at rock.
set.
That was so dirty. He just eats it full in the face, and the player coming over to kind of gather up to kind of shore up that defense doesn't work out for him. This again sees the shadow. You can see the idea. The CT player gets the advantage of seeing the shadow 1 second before he turns the corner, so you can get the peeker's advantage due to it. But again, Apex is ready. It's the second time he's cleared that out.
Yeah, and Apex living up to that, you know, entry fragger role that he's so well titled with. He's very concise today. He's
had a phenomenal game. I mean, he's not leading the way in frags or anything. I think he's only at 10. But I mean, some of the kills, the opening round that he gets that 3 kill on, that really just sets the tone for this match for G2. He's been great.
Well, last round of the first half here. This could be a nice 10-5. It always feels so good when you end a half on that sort of scoreline. You start feeling confident. Now, bearing in mind, there's still a lot of threats on board here. Henny still has that M4. KNG, UMP to hand, going to put KNG to work here. Apex does finally fall, but an instant trade back, an instant answer. It's Kenny S and it's Apex, that duo again, finding some work.
And it feels like finally, like late in this half, all of this much into the smoke. This actually is just full-blown desperation from the Brazilians trying to get out quickly. Steals the next up with the CZ. Can't even, oh, it gets one, excuse me. MBK does trade it off. But it seems like some of these rotations for Immortals from the B bombs have been so slow because they're so used to having NBK and drop shocks peeking out at weird moments that they're so frightened of getting punished by that they're getting punished by the A bomb site just never having any backup for the defense. So a suffocating half for G2 in so many different ways.
Yeah, rather brutal stuff from G2 toward Immortals, but a good first half for G2. This is looking like that map, you know, veto process went very nicely for them. But there's still a second half to see. Immortals can recover. They need to start firing on all cylinders, however. Otherwise, G2 are going to run away with this. So guys, do stay tuned. We'll be back in just a moment. 10-5, G2 already turning up here, but it's the Immortals who have it all to do to turn this one around. They've got to build up into this. Because G2, you can see them right there. They're not looking too flustered. Shox is just chilling out. He's like, all right, this is a nice half. I'm feeling it.
Yeah, they're having a good time. Everything went according to plan. Nice little eco win in the middle just to really put the cherry on top. It was good stuff. Yeah, they're very pleased. Double fist pump. Fist bump. Fist bump. It's a bump, not a pump.
Depends who you talk to, Moses.
Yeah.
Right, off that topic. We do have the Immortals with a plan in mind. Mollies, smokes, flashes. Show me what you've got here, Immortals, because I want to be impressed. I want to believe that you can make something out of this T-side. But Body might have another plan. Information gathered, job done, back away, call for support, and see who gets there.
Yeah, look at the rotation. It's already on the way. It seems like he might have called perhaps a rush with how convincing this rotation is. 4 players here for G2. This is going to be dangerous. Smoke's out, here it comes. But everyone's in the right places on the CT side, and there's the opening headshot from Body.
Yeah, Body not to be called out here, and Apex is in a good position towards Speedway. But alright, still going to break through towards one side of this, and KNG going to find one as well. He's working his way right around that smoke, trying to find any opportunity. And there it is, okay. If he clears out this one on site, he's got a possibility. He can find this 1v1. He needs to land a clean shot. He does. No bullets left. He goes on the reload. He makes it away. How has this happened? It's the 1v1, and KNG, you've got to feel, is large and in charge. 5 bullets in the clip, but it's Shox to land it in the end and keeps things building.
Yeah, that's huge, and you can see it. Got to be a great boon. Shox known to be one of the biggest clutchers we have in the history of the game. That's quite nice, and actually a very good defense. I mean, G2, you can see when these smokes come out, they know that they have enough bodies here, but they actually push and wrap around. Like, KNG's allowed an avenue to get these kills right around that, but it's because G2 pushed forward through the smokes to really clear out all the platform pressure they were feeling, and then they kind of turned their attention to the one player who still survived.
Alright, Tech9 rush. Yeah, it is. Straight down drop we go. CZ in Henny's hands. That's a brilliant connection, though. Shox gets absolutely shredded. What on earth? What year is this? CZs are doing this sort of thing? Alright, fair enough. This is a perfect hit towards B thus far. 2 players to play retake, and you blink and you miss it.
Well, alright then. That time... What can you actually say, Lauren?
Nah.
Not a whole lot, can you? I mean, part of it is it's different from the round that G2 comes down drop and just like there's a massive miscommunication where the players are spotted and Apex still just gets a free kill on Henny, boosted up. That time, I don't think G2 even had anyone in drop zone. They didn't see it. They heard the footsteps, but it just felt like Shox didn't get the information quick enough due to that blistering speed. So props to Immortals, just throwing caution to the wind, getting into the attack mode, and they find kills at long range, and they just crack open that bomb site. That's very, very sick.
We all know that rushing B is always the answer. Maybe rushing drop is now added to that list as well. But 4 players here already tendering towards that B plateau for the Immortals boys. A couple of flashes, Molly to be put to play. And pistols on the other side. We've seen what G2 can do with that on the T side. If they can replicate that on the CT side, you know you're going to be worried.
Body would love a flashbang from a teammate. It's not going to come in though. There's the opening battle, and he loses it. Shox still waiting. No Molotov to clear him out as well, but it's a 4-on-4 as Kenny gets a kill from the rock position. He's going to go for more spots. The head, there it is. That's sick, and Shox with one more. G2 on the verge of turning this.
It's ridiculous, isn't it? Steal now. Oh my god, heads are rolling, and it's Kenny S. So deadly. Down to 2 now. Kenny S and Apex finding Henny is the main plan here, and Kenny wants it all. He's got 4 kills. Of course he does. What an animal.
Oh, Lauren, that is so sick. That is so incredible. Kenny even just chasing down the kill. Doesn't need to peek. Might even be advised to be like the bad decision, but he's just like, all right, I've already gotten 3. I'm feeling it. The Deagle's on fire, and he adds a 4th to it. What a dirty, dirty round. Spicy, spicy man.
Dirty girl.
Would you look at it?
Are we just going to go through a list of
the
all
whole
these
list. That was sensational.
Can you believe it? We all miss Tosspot. I just like the opportunity to say Tosspot on air, if I'm completely honest. Great name, isn't it?
It is beautiful. I wonder how he can like, that's the name I want to be known as.
I'm pretty sure his older relative had a name of the week figure, and that was the name of that week. I might be wrong. Feel free to correct me. But for now, we've had a little bit of a slower, more, cautious start from Immortals. Don't blame him. You've just had your limbs torn off by Kenny S. So I too would take a couple of seconds to try and, put yourself back together.
Yeah, that's got to be a kick in the gut, doesn't it? Either way, Immortals wounded, not quite dead yet. They've got 4 AK-47s. The tough part for them is they're just not really that great on utility. They only have 1 smoke to utilize. That's on KNG. And they've pretty much, because of that, they've got to just group up there. I mean, there's a lurker on the other side of the map. That's going to be Bolts. He's waiting to see if there's going to be any push, any aggression. And actually, there's a chance here because Apex is pretty much the only one. Kenny just rotated in. Dangerous stuff, and he spots him underneath the smoke just as it starts to clear, but another one pops up.
God, these two are so dependent on each other, Apex and Kenny. Where do you watch? Where do you look? You've got pressure on Long, on middle. They have to succeed on all fronts. And the Walking Wounded, the Immortals, surely should be able to break through on this one, but no! Somehow Kenny and Apex are still doing this. Apex finding bolts and KNG. It's a disaster for the Immortals side. They're locked in on Long. They have no step towards the site. They're fighting their way out, but it's an uphill struggle.
Yeah, so much pressure as the time is dwindling down. Lucas, you've got to find something. And actually, no one from G2 is giving it. They have a flank coming in, so they're waiting for that to come to fruition. That's going to set up a crossfire. Now they make their move, but Body just executes. Henny, Lucas is the last one left, and he's getting taken out from behind. That's such a difficult round for Immortals because the smoke is in that choke point towards Long A this whole time. Those mid players feel like they have to make the play, but it's so disjointed. You can see Apex, he's completely exposed from behind him, but no one's coming through that smoke. If that call is being made, and there's teammates fighting on the other side of it, if you're a Long A player, you have to get through that smoke and support him. You have to get that kill quicker. He shouldn't be able to get two there.
Oh, frustrating matchup, I can imagine, for Immortals. Now, down to the pistols. I just don't see the play happening out of this one. They did do very well before doing this sort of thing, that fast drop play with the Tech 9s and CZs, but MBK, alright, we haven't given you much attention, Nathan, I'm sorry. So why not do that? Why not run up Plat? Why not just make it hurt even more? He's adding, you know, insult to injury.
MBK's putting in a lot of work into this game recently. I know when we first arrived here, when we landed and got to the hotel, you know, we came in, had rehearsals, went back, and at like 7 p.m. at night, MBK was just getting on a shuttle to come in and do some deathmatching. I think he was the only one of his team to do that, so big props to him. Obviously, it's showing here.
The thing is as well, when this lineup first came around, when they first made the two French teams, right, when they split up and reshuffled things around, I remember speaking to MBK about how he's going to fit into this new team, how it's feeling in practice, what's going on. And I remember him saying, I've finally been allowed more room to work. I've been playing essentially a support role for so long. I haven't been allowed the chance to be able to do these sort of things, and now finally he's starting to get more active into certain roles. He's not purely kind of pushed into that, so for him it's probably good for him to get that mentality back, because let's remember, MBK used to be someone who has star power.
Yeah, he was the big guy in the very games, in 2013, 2014. And I mean, the cool thing is we just saw a Nuke match the other day where he was actually lurking. That was at the qualifier where he's like a lurker on Nuke, so he's getting a lot of chance to test the different skill sets that he's bringing into this team. Either way, big advantage right now for G2. Henny's going to get aggressive through the double doors. He's the only one here, and he's going to fall to Kenny. Holding the angle, caution to the wind, not watching his back whatsoever. Now it's all down to this B hit. 3 players here for G2, though.
And Shock's so close on this too. He hasn't been forced to back away. There's no mollies really to force him out of it either. So again, you're going to have to just take that dry fight, and Body's holding a nice angle to supplement it as well if he keeps controlling this. The drop play has begun though, with Lucas and Steel in this position. It'll mean that MBK has to respond. Kenny S is coming over. But awkward, a little bit disjointed it feels from the Immortals so far. If they do get that punch through though towards the plateau, they could actually make something of this. But Kenny is now here, Steel trying to find him on the way through. But Steel will succeed, finally. A little bit of something happens for them. Steel's unleashed, 2 big kills, but there's the instant response from G2. And it's merely an even situation.
Yeah, Steel, so much impact. Here's KNG getting aggressive as well, and he's going to win that fight. Lucas grabs Apex as well. The battle continues, and it's all down to Steel coming out drop, being aggressive, finding the necessary kills to open things up for his teammates. That's so well done. And a dicey situation as well. Man disadvantage, 7-14. Plenty of money on the CT side. Going to get a shotgun on Apex.
Got a P90.
What's that?
P90.
Does Henny maybe think they're saving, or does he just want to go crazy and just never stop running?
Could just bang it down drop.
Yeah, that's one way.
JW did it with the sword off.
Henny, he's getting blocked. He's getting blocked.
No, who is blocking?
You hate to see it.
It actually didn't take that much damage, to be fair. That could have been so much worse. Imagine you're fully flash being blocked and you're just like, this is my idea of hell.
Yeah, you can imagine the panic as well in his voice. Please.
Let me live. Steel, though, going to give it a little bit of a attempt towards drop, but MBK just outdoes him. Upgrade to the AK. Feels good about it. No other threats coming through there. And while this happens, you're down to 3 players, and he's still left with that damn P90.
Yeah, I'm very curious about that buy if he thought their economy was just going to be gone and just wanted to use it to get in. But double op set up the other side of things. G2 busted out, and Shock's showing some aggressiveness around the smoke as well. KNG is trying to find something. Smoke clears, though, at the wrong moment. Body's ready for it. This is looking like G2 going to get on the map point, and it's going to be a reset. Remember that. I mean, Immortals just won the last round. They only had 2 players survive. It's not like they have any kind of wealthy bank behind this. So going to be in a very, very tough spot going forward, and all they have left is Drop and Henny with a P90.
Look, I'm ready for this P90 ace.
All right, keep dreaming.
If I dreamed of P90s, that would be an issue.
Listen, there's a flank coming in as well. There's like a timing on this play.
This is horrible. It's like watching this wounded animal trying to find help in any place it can, but it's just not going to go well, is it? Kenny, you going to find Lucas? There it is. There's a step in the right direction. The P90's about to just come alive. Bullets galore. Nah, thank you very much, buddy. I appreciate that. On to 15 we go. G2 one step away now from clearing themselves from the Immortals.
The body block. Oh. Ooh. He's thinking they go forward, Henny's thinking they go backwards, and that's what happens. I mean, that just shows, I mean, you want to talk about, we've touched on a number of times with this team, you know, there's big communication problems when things aren't going their way, and that just shows, you know, one guy's thinking no matter what happens, we're rushing down Drop. The other guy's thinking, oh, if a Molotov's here, I'm not running through it. So, miscommunication in that pair at least.
Yeah.
This buy is beat up.
Yeah, I'm going to get some shots with the AWP maybe if they actually make it through that far. He's going to kind of play himself towards the site. You got Apex up close, attentive, personal, and then MBK's already here as well. Rotate-wise, they're very quick on these rotates, G2.
Yeah, I mean, their defense has been extremely mobile, and that is a sick, sick HE grenade on the bolts. Half his HP gone. Yeah, this is, I mean, just a great read. Look at this. G2 already has 4 players here. Only one person. Shock's the only one today. Kenny's going to take the first shot and miss, but he's got plenty of opportunities. He's still missing, though. Lucas jumping off. That's an easy kill for Body. There it is. Kenny finally getting one to land. Couple Tech 9s respond, though. Still under pressure, and he's going to come right back into it.
Yeah, Kenny is unrelentingly holding on towards Plat, and there, with the final man to fall, it will be G2 to secure another step in the right direction. It looked like a questionable choice of map at the start for the Immortals. You'd hope that maybe they had a plan in mind coming into this. But G2 look a little bit on another level right now.
Yeah, they really do. It's a map that previously has been very good in the wheelhouse for Immortals, but it's been some time since they've looked that intimidating on it. They drop it big here. Could never get the economy rolling in the first half for those ops. And then G2 just closes it out very, very nicely. Clinical on the CT side.
Well, you've got to say, it's all good signs for G2 so far, at least in this tournament here. You've got some individuals turning up that you want to be seeing, and for the Immortals, they need a couple of those guys to start turning up, providing what we know they can. So guys, we are going to go to a break, and when we're back, we'll be joining the analysis desk to break that one down for us.
The Pay Safeguard Post-Match Breakdown.
We're here to break things down indeed. Myself, none other than Sponge, and of course YNK. And we're going to be talking a little bit about what on earth the French did oh so right. We got to see Kenny firing on all cylinders, as Lauren did so beautifully paint the picture of AWPs turning up in the ESL 1 Cologne groups.
Not only that.
You'd love to see it.
Yeah, not only that, G2 made the Immortals guys look like amateur bodybuilders with their control of the economy, so it was great to see.
Hey.
That one? No one?
Yeah, no, okay.
All right, guys.
I'll take it. I'll take it. Yeah, I like that.
It's my first game of the day, Chad. I'm still like
being
warming
serious?
up,
You're still being serious. I can be a memer.
No, it's not a meme. I'm just still warming up.
Yeah, he's still warming up, as perhaps were Immortals, because they did seem to get hit in the face, especially in the first half. We got to see quite the convincing establishment of, well, you said commanding of the economy by the French.
Yeah, so what I mean by that is we had a quick little chat about that back in the green room, and you said that Nathan said, that's a lot of hearsay, that they like to go for that third round buy, right? Which is something which you're not really known for, and they like to bring out the AKs and the Galils because you know you're going to be taking a lot on a lot of UMPs and low buy CTs, and they tend to win that one like a lot of the time, and that gives you a really good stronghold on the economy. And from there they had a lot of pivotal rounds where maybe Immortals won one, but they won it right back, reset them, put them in a hard time, and then that eco win where they just pop flashed out a drop. And
what was your tweet exactly?
I don't know.
How do they win these?
I'm so confused by it all.
So from a logical standpoint, let's just quickly just try and get ahead around it. Logical standpoint, you win them what? 5% of the time the enemy messes up?
It's not like just 5% of the time. If you have a good plan for it, you can win more than that. Depends on the map, depends on the opposition. So for the philosophy behind it is obviously probably going to stay on SMGs. They think you're going to double eco because you don't have a plant, and then you can buy and surprise them in some battles with the AKs. The thing is, like, the logic against it is, why do you take a risk so early on? If you lose that round, then you have to eco, then they're 4-0 up and have a lot of economy and have the ops and everything. But, their G2's philosophy is, yes, but if we break them there, then we've like really broken them, and then we have control of the game for at least a couple of rounds. So in general, I disagree with it, but with G2, because of how often they make it work, you can't really blame them for it.
Well, it helps if they like to win big. It does make a lot of sense, a decision like that. Now, I want to return to the Kenny discussion just for a moment, because there is a lot of highlights we can throw in your face here. He is looking to be in full retro Kenny mode. It doesn't matter if it's even the AWP, the Deagle as well. This was a spectacular round.
This was the round that basically, I don't want to say won them the game. They had the previous Apex round in the first half, and then this one happened like later on. That's where, they just got ecoed by Immortals and they ecoed them back. And that's where you feel like, this is the GG for Immortals.
This is the G2, though, that you need to know and love, because they're brawlers, right? They want to make these rounds as close and competitive as possible. They've kind of moved their force buy, right? Yeah. Especially on those T sides. They've gone, okay, well, we're not going to force fire on that second one. We're going to make it on the third now. But they're still happy to do it on the CT side. They still want to take it to you early and really put a lot of pressure on you. Especially when they have the lead. It feels like they just want to keep it and make it as drastic as possible.
It's fun though. We found ourselves talking about Skadoodle, Kenny, and Guardian, which have been usually painted in quite the negative light in the last couple of CS:GO tournaments. Not today here in ESL 1 Cologne, though. Another man that caught your eye, Yanko. Now, you selected a particular clip. You want to just talk us through a bit of Apex?
This was a very strange round. Like, again, pretty early on in the game, in the first half, where Apex just jumps down drop. They have control of drop, and Immortals were in a weird rotation because they just boosted a player up tree, and then the second guy was supposed to go platform. And in all of that commotion and rotations, they just completely forgot about drop. You can see Apex gets one kill on the player in the back. They move the third player towards A, probably trying to make a blind read. He gets the kill on the second guy and the third. I mean, the round was over even before that. And you always talk about Apex, how he doesn't have very good stats, how he's like the entry fragger of the team and so on. But we always have that caveat where we say, if Apex has a good game, that means G2 is probably just going to run away with the game. Because if he just goes in and gets 2 or 3 kills like this, ends the round, at the very, very start, it's going to make it so much easier for G2.
Is that an exaggerated version of when we say find the gaps, find the holes? Or is that that's a mistake, flat out?
There is a mistake there, but he obviously found the space, right? But the thing in that situation was no one else was close to capitalize. You saw he just actually had to kill everybody on his own before anybody else from his team was even in the bomb site. When you do that stuff, most of the time you want the teammates to be not too far behind.
Sure,
in this situation, it's just along the lines of he's felt it, he's got in there early, no one's facing him, no one's throwing any grenades at him, he's just going to see what he can find. And 3 frags. I'll
3
take that any
frags.
day of the week.
Yeah, and another win under G2's belt. You saw Shox' tweet, of course, popping up on the screen as well. Very happy to have a 2 in the win column. We'll see who else is in that category as well as we bring up the schedule and the standings. First of all, though, what's coming up? Who else is going to be battling for a spot? First of all, you can see we get Fnatic versus FaZe. That's something that in the pre-match yesterday, or rather, excuse me, the closing segments of yesterday, we talked about just how exciting that one could be. NIP versus Mousesports. 2 teams. 2-0. 2 teams that have also been under a lot of scrutiny from themselves as well as the community and what they're capable of, but one of them will be locked in for those playoffs by the end of that game. And we have Liquid OG. Again, one of those teams, both equally as scrutinized, perhaps Liquid less so, are going to be battling for a spot in the playoffs as well. It's been a turbulent adventure so far. You can see the standings as they are currently. This is your 2-0 gang, and if you do go ahead and continue through those standings, you'll notice G2 have gotten 2 alongside SK. That's it. 2 wins for SK and G2. We call them the big 3. A trip and a stumble, but back on track, Jad.
Yeah, and it's good to see them recovering because obviously we want them in the playoffs. Like
Yeah.
Whoever's going to come and play the best brand of Counter-Strike to get out and into those playoffs, they deserve to be there. But it would be a shame if we didn't have the likes of FaZe, SK, G2, maybe even leaning towards like a Fnatic and Na'Vi. They're looking, they've got things sorted out to some extent, so they're always exciting to see on the stage.
Absolutely they are, but there is some big names in that 2-loss category that we'll be talking more about when we get to them. For now, it's time to see what Fnatic and FaZe can do as we do head to a short break. It'll be the Swedes battling versus FaZe. FaZe have made playoffs in every single game, for every single tournament they've attended so far. Looking to battle for that grand final finish. We'll find out as we once again venture into another game of Counter-Strike after the break.